Well, hey friends, it is Amanda with Metal Modern Design and Deep South Shelling coming to you live today for my part of the Summer Craftathon. We are going to be doing a quick 20-minute craft. It's something that all of my friends and followers have been waiting for me to do, and that is a glass resin project from start to finish. I've shown them how to do a few things, but I haven't done the complete project. So this will be a fun one. We're gonna try to get this knocked out in 20 minutes, and I think we can do it because it's a super fun, super beautiful craft that just takes a little practice, and it creates something fantastic that you can sell in a booth, you can sell at a craft fair for good money, you can create unique gifts for your family and friends. As you guys hop on, say hello and let me know that you're here. If you're new to me, let me know that as well. I would love to welcome you onto my page. So let me show you what we're gonna create today. We're gonna use a glass frame, just a 5x7 frame, that we can pick up from anywhere. You can pick up just these 5x7, which are really the 4x6 frames, from anywhere, and you can turn it into fantastic, unique art. And so that's what we're doing today, friends. And so I'll show you just a couple of examples real quick of some things that you can create. This is just a super cute little design, and maybe you can't tell as well. It's just got some colored glass, a little starfish. It's one that I created for my home. And then these are examples of things that I create and sell in the shop. These are some smaller ones. I obviously create big ones as well, but I wanted to show you guys how to do that today. So come on in. Thank you for being here. If you guys would be so kind as to follow my page, I would appreciate you greatly. And if you're new here, show me some hearts so that I know that you're new, and I'll come back and invite you to follow me. So let me show you what we're gonna do. It's pretty simple and pretty easy, and I should have grabbed my secondary device. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set my timer. I've been going for just a couple minutes. I'm gonna set my timer for about 17 minutes so that I know how much time I've got. Okay, so we're gonna start out with just this simple frame here. And I have collected, you guys, I own a seashell business. I live in the panhandle of Florida. And so I'm an avid crafter. I'm one of the brand ambassadors for Essential Stencil. I'm live every Monday on their page. I do a lot of wood signs. I sell in booths. I teach women how to turn their passion into money to help free their lives from financial constraints, and how to turn their crafts into money in their pockets so they can buy more crafts. But I love doing these, and these I sell in booths locally. And so let me show you guys. I have collected up just a handful of things, like some clear crushed glass. That one's gonna be for later. I've got some crushed shell. I've got some colored crushed shell. You guys can pick these kinds of things up at Michael's, at Joann, at different places like this. And I've got a mix that's got some different colored glass with some crushed shell and just some baby shells. And so all we're gonna do is, just like this one here, we're just gonna create like a little wave of color on our frame here. And I'm just gonna use this mix I've already mixed up, and I'm just gonna kind of dump it down right here through the center. And that's my little base. And I'm gonna add this little bit of colored, chunkier crushed shell. I'm just gonna use a popsicle stick to kind of get it a bit in a line. I just want it to be in a bit more of an organized fashion, just a bit. That piece is a bit big. I'm gonna kick him out of our project, and him too. Sometimes you get pieces that are just a bit bigger. And you guys, I have got a brand new beginner glass resin class that's going to teach how to do the glass projects first, because I feel like they're the easiest for beginners. And I've got the link here. It's over at my page at www.creativebusinesschallenge.com if you want to take a look. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle the rest of this down. And I'm going to use a little bit more. I like to make it a little bit whiter in the corners and the edges. I got that going down pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna take just a little bit of clear glass, and in the blank spaces here, he's gonna get kicked off because he's a bit big. We're just gonna add a bit of crushed glass. Now, the crushed glass I'm using in the blank areas is just clear. And when we pour the resin over it, it's just gonna give it a little bit of dimension and height. And so that's all we're really going for with that. I'm gonna add just a couple more chunks. And let me show you again, kind of what we're going for. You can see in this one where the clear glass just gives it some dimension. And so, you guys, I sell all these shells and things over at deepsouthshelling.com. My page looks barren right now because I've been trying to revamp the page and bring in new products. And so, just keep checking back. If you want to get some kits, I've got kits there. We'll be giving away a kit today through Deep South Shelling. We're going to give away one of the starfish kits. I've got some mermaid kits that will be coming out that will include the resin and everything. Just stay tuned for that. Okay, so we've kind of got our blank canvas here, our glass frame. We've put some glass down. Now we're gonna pick a starfish to go on. I've got some really pretty colored starfish. I've got this deeper blue. I've got a bright blue, which is fantastic for the patriotic season. And you guys, I like to turn them different ways and see which way I like them best. I'll move my little glass and shells out of the way so I can see how it adheres down best on my project. I've got some light blue ones, I've got some seafoam colored ones, and I'll just play with it back and forth and see what I like. And because we're kind of in the patriotic season and I love some patriotic decor, I'm gonna go with the bright blue. It's like a bright royal blue. And I'm not gonna put him down yet. I'm putting him down to see how I like him, but I'm gonna lift him up for now until after I pour my resin. Now, friends, here's what I'll tell you. Sometimes you've got them that are high, they have height. Those work really well. Sometimes you'll come across a starfish that has a little crooked little, a little limb there, and I love those because it's like he just looks so whimsical and happy. So if you ever get starfish naturally or from Amazon or from me, I want you to look at it, and when you think it's imperfect, I want you to turn it different directions and think of how fabulous he really is in his natural environment, because I guarantee you can find some fantastic things. Yes, good luck everyone on the giveaway. I put the link in there if you want to sign up at the Summer Craftathon for the giveaway. She'll show you, she'll get you all registered so that you can potentially win this fantastic kit. Kits will be available over at Deep South Shelling. I'm going to be releasing several in the coming weeks, and so you guys will have to take a look. Make sure that you're following me here at Metal Modern Design or over at Deep South Shelling, both on Facebook, and you'll get notified when those. You can also text me to 850-749-5224, and you can text the word glass and you'll get notified there too. I will make sure that I pin that in the comments. So what we're going to do is we've got this all prepped out, and I'm going to grab a couple of, I used my blank, a couple of little medicine droppers that I get on, I get those on Amazon. I usually draw a line, but I don't think I have a pen near me right now because I was searching the house for a pen earlier, and I'm just gonna use, the last time I did one of these was last night, and it only took about a total of just over a ½ ounce of resin. And so let me just, I want to use a little more than a quarter, but you have to use equal parts of hardener and resin. That is imperative. It's also more fantastic if you use a black Sharpie. Use just a touch more. I'm gonna use a little bit more than I need. I personally like to have more than I need. I just dripped it. I like to have more than I need. A lot of folks like to have less than they need, and they'll create more if they need to. And so I'm just gonna wipe that up with a wipe. Cover it up. That was my resin. It's a 2-part resin. I like to use art resin. And then I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna grab out the exact same amount of hardener. It's very important. I got my timer going over here so that I don't go over. I'm just gonna make sure I've got the same amount. Tick, 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 tick. Yep. Yep, yep. Okay. Super important, equal amounts. Also super important is mixing for 3 full minutes. And so I'm just going to use a little silicone applicator here that I pick up on Amazon. You guys, if you take my beginner resin course, I'm going to teach you the tricks. This one's just going to focus on these glass pieces like this, varying sizes, the tips and tricks you need to do to prepare your glass for resin, places that you can source some of these fantastic things that I use, including mermaids and turtles, and you can take a look at my pages and see the different things that I've done. So we're just going to mix the 2 parts together. We got to mix them for 3 minutes. So if you guys have questions, now would be a good time to ask, because I will be able to look up, and we want to scrape out all that goodness. All that goodness needs to come in here. You guys, if you follow my page, I'll be live tomorrow at 11 a.m. for Essential Stencil. So I do fantastic wood signs as well. Hey Google, set timer for 3 minutes, please.
Sure, 3 minutes, starting now.
That Google Home is good for something, friends. So I'm just gonna stir this up. I'm gonna make sure I stir all the sides. I'm gonna lift from the bottom. I'm gonna stir, stir, stir. I'm gonna try not to aerate it too much, but that's okay. Hey, from Scarborough, UK. My goodness, that's a hot minute. Is the volume not up good? Are you having problems with volume? Usually I don't have problems with volume. If there is an issue, hopefully on replay it won't be bad at all. Hey friends, thank you guys so much for being here. It is an awesome craft, and let me tell you, it makes fantastic gifts. You guys, if you've got beach shells, like everybody's looking for things to do when they go to the beach. I live down here at the beach. I'm a little spoiled, but when you go and you collect shells at the beach, everybody looks for things to do. If you've got bracelets or any kind of things, you know, say your mother or your grandmother or someone important to you, a friend has passed, and you've got pieces of their jewelry, you want to create a memento for them. I know that's a little morbid, but you can absolutely take a piece of their jewelry and incorporate it into glass resin art. It is fantastic. I'm glad the sound is good there. Sometimes it's just the download speed on the other end, you guys, and so I'm just mixing. It's important to do 3 minutes. I've got very little resin here, so I'm sure it's pretty well mixed, but I always do the 3 minutes because God knows I don't have time for sticky resin. It's just got to really be mixed well. I've got way more resin here than I need. It just takes very little resin. So you guys show me some hearts if you are new to the page, and I would love to invite you to follow me both for wood signs, for the art resin projects, for all the things. I do a little too many things. I'm a single mom. My youngest one, I got a little something in my resin, friends. My youngest one graduated, and I should be using gloves. Let me just slip those on right now. My youngest one graduated from high school last night. So I have got 3 daughters in 3 different colleges in 3 different states. The oldest one graduated from college year before last, but she's in pharmacy school, so she's still in school. And the middle one's, I've got one at Georgia, one at FSU, and the youngest one's going to be going to Mississippi State. So I've got kids in college everywhere. And friends, I'll tell you, I can support those kids doing crafting full time. So I want to tell you it is possible. If you love doing these things and you want to make some money, just bringing in a little extra money for your family, or you want to do it full time, it's possible. It just takes a lot of hard work. I've been at this since 2016. Started as a furniture refinisher. I've refinished cabinets full time. I had a shop. Hey Google, cancel timer. So we've mixed it for the 3 full minutes, and I've got about 5 minutes left on our time for the craft-a-thon. So that's good timing. So what I'm going to do, I've aerated it a bit. It's not perfect to aerate it. You can stir with a popsicle stick. Sometimes those will aerate a bit more, and that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to start. I'm just going to drizzle this resin initially over my area. It doesn't take a whole lot. I'm just going to drizzle it initially over my crushed shells. And then I'm gonna come and I'm gonna drizzle it over the rest of my glass. You guys, I did just over 1/2 ounce of resin total. Just over 1/4 ounce of part A and 1/4 ounce of part B. It doesn't take a lot. Resin is expensive. You guys, there's a lot of different types of resin on the market. I like art resin. There's casting resins. There's different resins for different things. You want to make sure you're using the right resin for the project. I just like art resin because it dries crystal clear. It's non-toxic. Some of the resins can cause all kinds of reactions in folks, and nobody's got time to have an allergic reaction to resin. I like this one because it's got no VOCs. I was just approved to carry it in my art kits, and so the next month or so I'll be able to carry the product directly from Art Resin, which is fantastic. Super excited about that. And so I've got a whole lot of resin on here. I probably didn't need quite this much, but it self-levels, so you just really want to get it on there. I'm just going to take my little spatula here and just make sure it's kind of thinned out so it can spread just a bit. Make sure I've got a bit left in my cup here, and I'll show you what I do with that, and hopefully I've got enough left to do my next little thing. I always make a little more than I need because I'd rather have a little extra, and I always have a little extra project prepared to take up my extra resin. So we've got that on there. I'm gonna set this aside. I'm gonna grab my heat gun. You always wanna heat it to bust the bubbles. And so you can use a propane torch, you can use a blow dryer. I don't like the blow dryer, it's too heavy of wind, but I do use my heat tool. And so you don't stay in any position too long. It just pops those little bubbles, which is important when you're doing this on glass, because you'll see them. Just making sure I got them. I'll go back and do this usually once or twice. Just heating the resin. I do see a blank spot because a piece of glass did shift, and that's okay. So I'm gonna add that back down right there, and it will self-level, so I'm not too terribly worried. But I am gonna heat that little area again. You can throw special things in here. On a lot of my projects, I'll toss a pearl and a shark tooth because it's kind of a signature thing that I do. Let me see. And I like him like this because he kind of looks like he's running. And so I don't like to resin over my starfish. I like to lay them on top of my project. But they get nice and adhered because I'm laying them in the resin. I just make sure he's laying flat where he's in the resin. That's important. He's got to be in the resin to be able to stick. And so it's just that simple. We're going to put this in a place where no contaminants can fly into it. I've got a German Shepherd. His hair gets everywhere. So you'll want to cover it, but you're just going to let this dry for about 12 hours. I see that I've got some more bubbles that have formed. Just going to heat that again. And it's going to be golden. And so let me show you what I'm going to do real quick with my leftover resin. I always have a spare shell. This is just a shell from my shell business. I've got some colored glass and colored shell here. I'm just going to toss that little bit of colored glass and colored shell right into this beautiful shell. I have got a little shark tooth, which is kind of my signature little thing. I like to hide little things in my little shells when I do this. It's like a little treasure. These sell fantastically down here at the beach. And I always like to toss in a little something unexpected, like a seashell in a coordinating color. I learned that from a fantastic friend of mine, Patsy, who also does art resin. And so we've got just this simple little shell with just some glass, some colored shell, and we're just gonna scrape out what's left of this resin, because we never want to waste the resin. Resin's expensive. It may not take a whole lot to do the project, but you never want to waste even a single drop of it because it is expensive. But you guys, you can sell this craft for big money, or you can create gifts for your friends. So my time's just about up. I gave it enough time where I'd have an extra minute or so. So let me, should be anyway, if I timed that right in my brain. We've got the resin there. We're just gonna heat it. We're gonna make sure that this rests level, and it's gonna dry beautifully. And it's just gonna be a little hidden treasure for somebody to pick up and take home from their beach trip. You guys, if you sell in craft fairs, these would be fantastic sellers. I encourage you to sign up for my beginner class. It's just $37. You guys can find all the details at the link, but look how pretty that is. And that'll just be a little hidden treasure for somebody to take home. And so look, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Hop on over, watch the rest of the folks with the Craftathon. My friend Melissa Miller is up next. Y'all take care, be blessed, and I hope I see you soon on my page. Bye now.